Welcome to Warblog. Today I'm going to look at this Tokmachka game. I haven't done that yet. I'll have to do that. But I sort of finished it. Well, it's only on the first run, but I did it because I just sort of put two and two together to realise sort of where it is. I was actually sort of reading a couple of things. Well, I'll just go straight into here. This is the Guardian newspaper of all things. Ukraine's failed Tokmachka assault lays bare the counter-offensive challenges. And it sort of explains what's happening here, but even on South Front I haven't seen the image from this perspective, because there really are 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks all almost side by side in a row, plus this one. And this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. I mean, you know, it's incredible. And they sort of explain what happened. There were two assaults, and one got stuck, and the other one came in, and it sort of explains it quite well. I wouldn't say that it's massively explained well, but then it has this map, and it shows where it is. And I thought, hang on, I'll do this. It's not often that something like the Guardian sort of inspires me to do something, and so basically, but what on top of that, what I was looking at was this South Front video, and this is probably the most horrendous video I've seen so far. I don't think I'm going to play it. But basically what happens here, there's some troops down here and they're in a minefield, and they're using this truck to sort of drive backwards, and I mean they just blow themselves up on mines, and you see it quite graphically. In most situations it sort of looks, well, you know, they've still got their legs, but there's one towards the end where he literally gets his leg blown off, and it makes you realise you know what is going on. It's quite sobering. I don't want to dwell too much on it, but the thing is, the combination of these two things, see, they were driving through a minefield, and in here it talks about, I'm not going to find the exact bit, but you have to drive in a straight line, it's saying. You know, and he's saying there's nothing sort of unusual about that sort of strategy. You know, it's talking about how the Moscow's superior air power, I'm not. Basically, they're saying that, yeah, this is it. They said that the counteroffensive was still in its early days and involved a form of warfare not seen in decades, as Ukraine forces were being forced to build single lanes of armoured vehicles through mines heading to main Russian defences that in some cases may be still as far as 20 kilometres away. This is the thing that I'm getting picking up on a lot of things. You know, the gains that they've made aren't anywhere near the Russian main defences. And you know, it says it there on a Guardian website, 20 kilometres away. So building these straight lines. So when you look at this video here, obviously this is a straight line. You know, so they've got these and if you read this fully, I think it starts off by sort of explaining what happened. That they lost basically 50% of their special anti-mine vehicles, but I've read elsewhere that you have to condition that into the fact that they only had 4, so to lose 50% is to only lose 2. You know, as part of the wider offensive in that area of the front line, 20 Ukrainian armoured vehicles led by 2 specialised mine-clearing vehicles set off on what appears to have been a breaching operation targeting an area of higher ground. Not long afterwards, brief posts on social media described how the column ran into difficulty close to a minefield, losing many of its vehicles. because the first group encountered mines, which alerted the Russian defenders to their presence, and the second group was quickly spotted by Russian reconnaissance drones and came under heavy artillery fire. So putting all this together and sort of seeing this video, which I'm not going to play here, but it's worth watching at least once. I can't watch it a second time because it just seems not right to watch it a second time. You know, because they're real people, and it makes you feel quite sorry for the Ukrainians. You know, that they can't get even near the main Russian defences. You sort of start wishing they might be a bit more successful, but that's just stupid, really. I mean, it's war, so but it is very sad. But anyway, so I thought I'd build that sort of scenario, at least the whatever this one is, the Tokmachka thing, with obviously double minefields. But what I've also given them is lots of these anti-mine, well, they're in here somewhere. There they are. There's some sort of got engineers and loads of tanks. It is filtering through, it's just because they're all the same. And then, but the thing is, if you look at this Russian defence line, there's not a lot there. So I've done it quite deliberately shallow, because you might have thought that with this incredible artillery, I mean, there's not just these, there's tanks up here. So these mechanized. You know, there's a lot of tanks that come on. And I've also given them, there you go, armor. I've also given them my favourite, Ukraine Special Forces. I want to put smoke in here. There is actually smoke in this video, but it's actually it's very low level. It's just the tank putting out smoke, because I commented that they should use more smoke, you know, even if that means going at night, because people, you can be seen. So, you know, obviously I would think you'd drive this straight line with a hell of a lot more forces than they actually have there, because you're going to lose something. But under smoke, and you just do it, and anything that gets blown up you push aside, and you keep moving forward until you get there in masses. You know, they didn't do D-Day with 25 people because they didn't want to lose more than 25 people. You know, they did it with many thousands, you know, for obvious reasons. But anyway, that's something else. But there is smoke that it can be laid down like at divisional level, you know, massive artillery barrages of smoke that cover the entire, you know, miles of the area with smoke. And they also have vehicles that just drive around, you know, laying smoke, and the whole thing would be, you know, just absolutely covered with smoke. But the smoke issue doesn't deal with the mine issue. But anyway, but the special forces, and I have seen some thing of special forces where the Ukrainian special forces have somehow got behind the lines into the trenches, and they just keep shooting all the Russians who are not expecting it. They're not even carrying their guns around. For example, your special forces landing down here and just going along killing all these people because they're not ready for it. So let's just go into play mode. So obviously, I'm probably not going to do a lot of it, but, you know, obviously we've got special forces which can land anywhere, but they probably have to be a bit careful about not getting shot. But we might want to leave them till next turn. But the thing is, I'm not going to play all this because I want to go to bed. But basically, what I'm trying to figure out is how these are two level minefields. I think some of them are threes, and these are sort of more ones. That basically means that they've got, the factor is 3, which means if I put the engineer in there, you can only reduce it by 1. If I've got a factor of 3, it's sort of like, you know, quite a lot of damage whenever you go in there. So you could push your irregulars through there, but they get blown up, which is what we're looking at there. Not directly, but you know, it's brutal footage. But you know, but we thought, thinking, well, how can we do this? And probably take a bit more thinking than I'm prepared to do. But essentially, we've got to sort of drive into these minefields and somehow create a line. So in the first instance, we could either drive down this road, 1, 2, 3. But if we go into a minefield, what happens? That's irregular, isn't it? Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, so we can do that. There's no more engineers in there, but we've got some here. Okay, so we're going to try and take this out. Take this out, take this out. Do we have any more engineers? Got some here, but I'll have to cross that. Don't think he's got any more movement. So we're an engineer short, really. I think we could play it again and do this a bit better, because we would ideally have not maybe had 3 there, but had 1 there to take that out. So we can get these 2 cleared and have some of this cleared for next turn. At this moment, we're going to have that still, unless we've got any more engineers somewhere. Look how many tanks we've got. But here, we've got a similar situation, but instead of going through the obstacles, we could go through here. So we've got a much better engineer arrangement here, but we've got lots of engineers. That's sort of the point, really. We've got more up here, look. Now we might want to consider where we put these engineers. I think this road goes along here. It's just so complex we can't see it, but let's just see. Yeah. Now, how many engineers? We've got 1 there and 1 there, but I don't think he's really going to do much, but I think we'd like to get him somewhere down here, but there's too much stuff in there. Oh, there's some engineers in there. So 1, 2, what's his movement like? It's got 1.75 left. Oh no, just not enough, because that would have been nice to get right there. Oh well, we can move him down as far as we can. Some engineers there. Some engineers in there, look. See, the reason I'm sort of doing this is because I'm sort of thinking, well, you know, presumably the Ukrainians have engineering resources and are trying to, allocate them in the best possible positions. So now I think he is in completely the wrong position. No, that's not. Yeah. So obviously they didn't forward position their artillery in a minefield. So I'll have to edit that. But now I think we've sort of committed our engineers in some way. But remember, if you played this yourself, you could refocus it. You might want to put a bridge over this river. You might want to sort of maybe try to take these 2 hexes out, or somehow reorganize this group. This could have been done better. This is probably done okay, but in retrospect there might be other ways of doing it. Obviously we're going to move other things around afterwards, but I think in the first instance what I'm going to try and do is consider this as a breach. If we can somehow get something, now if we're lucky, we can get these, which would put us onto this hex here. We've got rockets and irregulars. So now the thing is, one of the things that I've been quite deliberate with in this is that the Ukrainians don't have any air power, because that's what it says in the Guardian article, that they're doing this with a lot of armor, a lot of infantry, but no air support. So there's no air support in here, and hence the Russians don't have any air defenses. So that was that. Ideally we would have blown them up, done a bit of damage. We've got these special forces, so what we do with those I don't know. I'm sort of tempted to sort of land them now, but I don't think I'm going to. But we could in theory land them and try and take something out, but there doesn't really look to be that much that's too vulnerable. There's no there's an objective over here. And let's just see. Okay, so we've landed some special forces in there. Let's just see how much of an inconvenience that is. So next, what we've got is a lot of armor. Now, the whole point of this is that this is Tokmachka, which is where that fateful thing was. Coming from there, and our tanks are here. Now, we could possibly try the same approach going through minefields. You see, we've made that mistake, so we can't really go through the minefield at this moment. We could prepare and bring them down this way, but we've got a lot of other stuff as well. I think I've forgotten to put the armor in. I actually meant to put other armor in here. This was the extra stack. I mean, I just put this in there for sort of the lulls at the end, and it seemed to be the only armor on the board. There probably is one other feed armor in there somewhere. Anyway, but we got some mechanized, and we got lots of irregulars. Now the thing is, I'm sort of not so much tempted, but I'm sort of thinking. I'm actually now thinking and wondering whether the microphone's on. There's no way of really knowing, but usually there's sort of microphone thing sort of changes colour, and doesn't seem to be doing that. Anyway, nothing I can do about that. So what I'm thinking is, well, what I'm thinking is we can't move through the minefield, but if we do, so that's sort of the dilemma. So what we've got is this massive stack now, all prepared for a big build up there. And similarly, over here, a massive stack. Let's distribute our armor a little. Okay. I wonder if this microphone is on. Right. Okay. Does it? Yeah, it's all, I don't know. Talking to myself now. Right, so let's end the turn. Now we've got the Russians with a lot of drones. Now, the Russians can't really do a lot of counter-attacking, but we can see all this stuff advancing. And we've got a lot of artillery. Let's see if we can just get this column down a bit first, because it's irritating me. So obviously we want to stop these engineer attacks. So we've got Ukrainian air defences shot down, aborted, shot down, quarter strength. Not very good for the Russians. It's still looking odd. Maybe we need to get rid of one more. But I don't think we've done any damage so far. Where's these air defense units? Where are they? I'm pretty sure we didn't fire all the Russian stuff. Oh no, it's the Russian turn now. Oh no, no wonder I can't find any. I'm looking on the wrong side. Okay, so we're looking for Ukrainian air defences. You can tell it's late. Okay, let's see whether I can actually... Is there anything else? On their own? Lots of artillery up there. Engineers. Okay, we've got some in there. We're going to have to go for that. Oh, perhaps there's another way to do this. Right, got rid of one air defense unit and another one. Oh look, these ones don't have any defense. Right, we should blow these ones up easily, because I don't think they get the same defense when they're on their own. So they're going up against overwhelming Russian artillery and rockets, which we're sort of demonstrating here. And it's really interesting because we demonstrated how successful the air defense was when it's active, but also how vulnerable it is to being taken out. I mean, 11.9. You should not still be standing at all. And we appear now to have removed all their air defences. So we can come back to this engineering section over here. Right, there's one more. Let's just see what we can do. We're damaging them. That is incredible, because before we were just losing all our drones. It's a bit like paper, rocks and scissors, but there are actually some special things. Routed. So they've lost some engineers. Where's their last air defense unit? There's in there. I don't think we can get it really. No. Well, that's it for the Russians, because we can't do any attacks. So that's interesting, really. Oh, we've got this little unit down here. So what do we do with those? Do we try and take them out? They're special forces. They're going to get a massive defense, and they're entrenched. Let's maybe just leave them, because I want to finish. It's 28 minutes. I need to go to sleep. But it's interesting because I think it is playing out how I wanted it to play out very quickly. I mean, I might modify things, but you know, we lost all the air defense units, and I think that one of the key things is they're not readily replaceable. I mean, obviously, I think I want to put a few more tanks in, because I actually didn't put the tanks in. These were not the tanks I meant to put in. These are just the extra stuff on the top. But it's now the Ukrainian turn, so a lot of it comes down to what they can do over here. So obviously we've got this. So if we try to demine it, clear mines. Mine density equals 1. Back to game. And this other one, clear mines. I really need to put this proper script color. So we've cleared the mines there now. We haven't cleared this mine. So let's do that. I mean, obviously, with regards to game balance, I'm not sure because I've only just thrown it together, but we've now cleared a path. Now, it might not have been that simple, especially if we hadn't lost so many drones. If we'd spent a bit of time taking the air defences out before, I'm pretty sure, or at least with the artillery, we might have been able to do more on that. So what can they get in there then? Well, let's just remove this mine, and that's 0. So we've now got a bigger gap, which means we should be able to, oh look, there's some engineers. And let's just cut to the chase. Clear these mines. Oh, hang on. Yeah, still mines in there. Which means now we've got a big gap. We targeted that hex last time. So let's see what damage we can do against it this time. Okay, so we've got sort of something like this going on through the minefield, which we actually cleared. Now, do I do 2 attacks or do I go all out against this? So this is the biggest assault. We've reached the lines. We eliminated the rocket unit. And we've broken through. So we've done everything that the Ukrainians have been trying to do. We don't have enough movement really to do anything, but we could either attack this unit, or we could really make sure that unit runs away. No decent road networks. I'm tempted to attack that, but what I don't want to do is I could wonder. I mean, I'm not going to play for much longer, so I can't compute the odds. Yeah, thought it might be tough because they get such good defensive values, but we could have pushed him out and really exploited. I think I might leave it at that because I want to sort of go off and I don't want to do another. It's already 35 minutes. Alternatively, I could have a little go at this. So again, the reason I'm sort of doing this video is to sort of replicate to some extent the things that we're seeing and the issues with going through minefields. Now the reason I put 3 in there, now I did put 3 in there and lost 1, but I needed 2, so that was good that I put in more than I needed. But again, the reason I'm doing it is to sort of replicate to some extent, get an idea of, you know, how that models out, because the minefields seem to be really quite key into what's happening. So we've gotten rid of that one, we need to get rid of that. And we've got our path. Let's just use him before we lose him. So there's still 1 mine left in there. But we've got this guy, but I don't think he can move and demine. But he hasn't been used yet, so we'll put him in there. But let's see what we can do here. Do we have anything that can get into there? Okay, so we're going to have to push. So we've not cleared that out. So we can clear those 2 next turn. So this is possibly what they were trying to achieve. We'll put these engineers into the battle as well, I guess. 3-1 and an exchange. So they rolled badly, you see. That's what happened. They just rolled badly. That was a 12. Bearing in mind it's a D12. It's not 2d6, it's 1d12, which gives us the more extreme options. Now I think, again, it says in here about the commander being quite frustrated. Actually, this is it. The Russian MOD published a video showing their trophies captured and damaged Bradleys and some Leopard 2 A6s. The video is probably, I know it is. It says here, according to the Star Sergeant, Valery Marcus of the Ukrainian 147th Brigade, which is involved in the incident. Russia had hugely exaggerated the brigade's losses. In a video posted online, a visibly angry Marcus said his brigade had lost 5 soldiers, but not the large numbers claimed by Russia, and had inflicted far heavier losses on the Russian side. I think the thing is, obviously that's a little, that's almost a frontage of meters, and if you would consider the broader scale of things, that's the loss there. There's a broader scope and there's a breakthrough here, and they have taken it up to here. So what's going on is, sometimes they can use their engineers to good effect to break through the minefields. Here we broke through the minefield, but there was a 3-to-1 odds, which is pretty good, and they failed. But obviously there's a withering amount of Russian artillery. But the thing is, if they can get to these lines, then there's not much defending them. Not a lot at all. And they should be able to sort of wipe them out, really. It'd be tempting to sort of play a bit more, but I can't get through there. That's the only breach I've got at the moment. Let's get rid of these, at least. See, the thing is, I either take that out, because there's going to be 2 in there, so I need 3 engineers, and I've only got, at best, 2, that one and that one. Can I move and demine? I don't think so. No. That's a shame. But we can move these guys a bit closer, I guess. I'll leave those in there to protect that. In fact, I'll move one of them over here, because they've got to hit the bigger unit before they can get the artillery for some reason. Here we can't get anything past these units. There's 3 in there, 2 in there, so we should be able to get something through there. Irregulars, but they won't be able to move, will they? So that's messed that up. Oh look, some engineers. Let's see if we can clear the road. Oh, some more engineers. I wonder where they were. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Do we want to take this air defense unit out just for the hell of it first? I don't think so, really. So we've got this problem here and here. So they've got stuck with the battle. Let's bring some withering. Let's see what else we can do to justify this image. Rockets, artillery, artillery, artillery. And I want to do it all there because I want to consider this breach here. Let's just put in some artillery and rockets. And whatever else we've got back onto here. Destroyed some engineers. So those are those engineering tanks that we heard about being destroyed. Let's see if we can get a Leopard. 2.7. I haven't got any anti-tank units. The other engineers are gone, so that's those 2 engineering units we heard destroyed. Let's put some down here. Let's go back and see where we can get our prize money for the Leopards. We've got the Leopards. We've accomplished the image in the newspaper article. And this is at 9.2. We could almost counter-attack that. Could have probably done that earlier. So we completely destroyed that unit. These ones are still a bit too intact, but let's just see whether we can push them out. Oh, 1-3 and attacker retreats. Disaster strikes the Russians. Look at that big hole. I have to bring some reinforcements over. There's a hole in the line. Okay, I don't think there's much more I can do. We're not doing anything down there, so okay. Oh, it is working. It's just I wasn't looking at it properly. Right. So this is the Ukrainians' sort of last effort, I think. We can take out that. He's used one, so he's only got one more turn before he can start using. That's another change I made, but should be able to remove that, leaving 0. It's very stupid, isn't it? Which means that we've now cleared that hex out. We should be able to clear these two out. So again, demonstrating the importance of engineering units. Two available units. So he's used one. You can go into there. He's used one as well. Which means we can bring him over there. He won't go in there, will he? Right, so now we haven't broken anything there, but we've got, look at all these extra units coming on. More engineers. Here, want to break through. Want to break through big time here. Should be able to do this with that didn't work. A 7-1. Oh. We should be able to blow these away. Only just. Only 5 minutes left. Oh, look at that. 4-1 and an exchange. That was terrible. That blocks that road. Let's get rid of something in there, the mines. Ideally, I'd need longer to play. You know, to do things with some sort of consideration, etc. I mean, I've rushed in there, but we've at least taken that mine out. But next turn we can at least take out that obstacle, creating a bit more of a faster route. See if we can take this hex. Yes, 6-1 and a DE. And let's see whether we can actually blow this lot away. 4-1 and a DR. So we're creating a bit of a breakthrough, but only 3 minutes left. I don't want to figure out all of this. I'm not going to do that. I think that's actually quite an extraordinary breakthrough. Look, so we've cleaned all those engineers away, and like I say, the thing is, I leave it at that. It's not balanced from the point of view that I just threw it together. I mean, I could maybe give the Ukrainians less engineers so that it's more of a challenge, so they have to focus on that. Maybe they can do some of it, but they can't do all of it, so that everything still has to pass through. You know, if they fail, if they lose too many engineers, etc. You know, I mean, because at this rate it looks as though they might be able to steamroll over all the Russians, but we haven't really seen what the Russians can counter at, and I'm not sure whether I've given the Russians. I think I'm not sure what we've got on the side of reinforcements, because I thought I gave them plenty to reinforce. I thought that they might be able to break through this line, but it'd probably be very unlikely to break through this line. So I might give the Russians a few more irregular units, because the regular units in the trenches are difficult to sort of deal with, and some off-table artillery, but I think generally speaking it serves its purpose. You've got to focus on clearing the mines out and making a breakthrough, and that's what they're trying to do. Whether this scenario makes it easy or not is irrelevant. You know, you can sort of see the challenges, and you know, we can see that in evidence what happens when they mess up. Anyway, I'll leave it at that, because I've got 50 seconds left, and I'll upload this and I'll speak to you later. Cheerio.